Good day and welcome to this webinar. My name is Marieke Smit and I'm the Chief Education Specialist at Impact for Hospitality Studies. We just want to give a minute or two for everybody to join before we start this lesson on table settings. Okay, I think we're going to start with this lesson. So today we're going to look at table settings. This is presented by Impact. And just to say again, my name is Marieke Smit. I'm the Chief Educational Specialist for Services, Subjects and Technology at Impact. Serena Jordan, also an educational specialist, will be assisting me with this lesson. Thank you, Serena, for that. Now, before we start, we just need to look at a few basic things that you need to know to help you through this webinar. First of all, if you struggle to hear me, please make sure that your audio is on and your speaker's volume is turned up. Secondly, you will be automatically be muted when joining the session. If you have any questions, you are welcome to ask them in the question box, or you can raise your hand on your dashboard by clicking on the hand. Also, this presentation is available and additional resources in the handout box, so please make sure that you download it before the session ends. You will also find all this information in your question box below. Also remember at the end of this webinar to please send us your questions and also give feedback for us to improve on next sessions. Thank you. Now, before we start this lesson, it is very important to know that this is a short lesson, but a very important lesson. This will also help you with your PAT, so that's why it's very important. So before we start with this lesson, actually, we need to remind you to use your study notes and your CAPS document to make sure that you cover the work for term 2. Also use this webinars and your guided learnings platform to ask some questions for us to answer if you struggle with anything. And then last but not least, please use our Facebook pages so that we can assist with this subject. Okay, let's get started with this lesson. Before we can set a table, we need to understand a few things. First thing is mise en place. Now, what does mise en place mean? It is the French word for put in place, and that means that we need to prepare the restaurant, in this case, for the guests before they arrive. So this will mean that we need to prepare all the equipment. For example, the cutlery needs to be cleaned, the crockery needs to be cleaned, your glassware needs to be steamed, and your linen needs to be taken out from the storeroom. Also, your environment needs to be prepared, like switching on the lights, switching on the aircon, the music, open the windows and sweep the floors, etc. Other things that needs to be in place is also finishing your flower arrangements, filling up your pepper mills and your sauces, getting your table numbers, etc. So please take note that with the mise en place, we get an opening mise en place, and that will take place before the function. So it means before the people arrive or the guests arrive, we will do all this preparation for the function. And then we also get a closing mise en place, which means we will do that after the function, and it's actually just a reverse of what we did in the beginning. So for example, we will close the windows, we will sweep the floors, we will fill the sauces, and we will pack all the apparatus away. So that is mise en place. Okay, now you need to understand what a cover means, and this is a question that is asked a lot in the exam papers. The kids get confused and they normally draw a whole table instead of only one setting for a person. And a cover means a place setting at a table for one guest only. So in other words, if you need also to draw this on your practical lessons or your PAT, it's only this one cover for one person. So just take note of a cover and what it means. It's very important. Now we get 3 types of covers. And the first one is the a la carte cover. This is the first one. You get a table hood cover, and we also get a breakfast cover. Now the difference between these 3 covers is, first of all, if you look at the difference between a la carte menu and a table hood menu, I always remember it like this. This one, a la carte, is where they give you the card and you can decide what you want to eat. So for example, like the Wimpy. All of us had breakfast at the Wimpy in the past. So you can choose whatever you like, and they don't know what you're going to order. So therefore, you just put a fork and a knife and change it accordingly. So that is the a la carte menu cover. Then we get a table d'hôte cover, and that means that it is a set menu. So in other words, like a wedding, we know exactly what is going to be prepared for the guests, and therefore they will put the cutlery according to the menu. So in this case, let's say fish, soup, entree, or main course, and then your dessert. So the cutlery will be placed on the cover according to the wedding set menu that was decided on. Then we get a breakfast cover, and that's actually very easy to identify, because normally you will get like yogurt and porridge. So you will have a spoon and a coffee or tea cup on your cover. So that is the difference between the 3 types of covers. So now also important is that we have to look at the serving sides of the different items before we can lay the table. That will help you a lot to understand where you must serve which items, and also place it on the cover. So for example, if you can look at your hands. So I know this is a webinar, but please do this with me and put your hands in front of you. So if you look at the left-hand side, you will see a B. And if you look on your right-hand side, you will see a D. So this is a guest sitting at the table. And from the left, we will serve the bread and the bowl. You can see the B there, and also on your hand, the B. So you will never forget that bread and the bowl, also the paperwork, will be served from the left of the guest. And then your drinks, which we are going to focus on later in the grade 12 lesson, is D for drinks, and that will be served from your right. As I said, bread and bowl will be served from your left. Okay. Now, understanding the sides and the cover, we need to understand how the utensils is put on the cover so that we can use it. And a lot of people get confused with this, and they don't know where to start if you are at a wedding or whatever. So just remember it like this. If this is the guest, as you clap your hands from the outside to the inside, we are going to use the utensils from the outside to the inside. You can also do this if you watch on my screen. So we're going to use it from the outside to the inside. I hope everybody can see that. So just to confirm again, we will actually start on this cover from the outside. So we will use that knife first and this fork. And then we will also use that knife and fork secondly, and then we will use that utensils. So that's the way we use it, as you clap your hands from the outside to the inside, or like this. So just remember, that's the way we need to place the utensils on the table. Okay, so let's start with the cover. This is also very important for your pad. I took the grade 10 pad here just to show you how to lay the cover or lay the table for your pad. This is a menu, and you will see on the menu we've got hors d'oeuvres, we've got sorbet, the main course, dessert, and then coffee or tea. So first of all, if the guest is sitting at the table, when starting to lay your table, we need to read the menu and see what dishes is going to be served, and therefore we need to use the utensils for that dishes that we're going to serve. So normally we will put the underplate, and you will always have a side plate. Just remember what we said earlier. Your bread will be served from the left. So when you put your utensils or your cutlery or crockery on the table, just remember that we're going to put it on the left-hand side because we said bread, the B, will be served from your left. So now you are sure where to put the side plate. Now we're going to start. So with the hors d'oeuvres there, we will read the addition, that's chicken crepe with honey and mustard sauce. So that will be a pancake. So in this case, we will use an entree, fork and knife. So if we put it on the cover, it will look like this. So just remember I said from the outside to the inside. So this will be our first course and that will be on the outside. Then after that, we will serve sorbet. Now, in this case, I prefer to serve the sorbet spoon with the sorbet, or you can put the sorbet spoon just next to the knife there. So both ways will be correct. Then after that, we will have our main course, which will be the beef, and therefore we will put the main course fork and the main course knife in the middle. So like I said, from the outside to the inside. So in this case, this will be your first course, and this will be your second, actually your third, because it will be served after your sorbet. And then last, you put your utensils for the dessert. That will be your dessert spoon and your dessert fork. And just take note of the sides. It must be facing. So the spoon is your main utensil using for like eating ice cream. So that will normally be in your right hand, and then your left hand will be the fork. So you can normally take it just in your hand and then just bend it to the middle, and you will see which side must face which side. So that will be your cover, but we're not done yet. Most of the kids, they do forget about a lot of things on the table. So please remember to put your wine glasses because we need to drink something. And you can remember that we said on the right hand, we will do the drinks like the D. So just check where we are going to put the white wine glass. Where are we going to place it? So it will be just where the main fork and the dessert, the main knife and the dessert fork cross each other there, if you draw a line, and the stem of the white wine glass will be there. So then after that, we will place the red wine glass, and that will be 90 degrees to that side or 90 degrees to the inside. Doesn't matter, both ways are correct. So after we've done that, we still need the butter knife, and we will place it on the side plate here because it goes with the butter and the bread, and then also your serviette. A lot of kids forget their serviettes and the butter knife when they do the cover for the pat, especially for the pat. Okay, so let's just recap this before we're going to ask a few questions or can answer a few questions. If you look at the serving of food, we said that if a guest sits in front of a cover, some items will be served from your right and some items will be served from your left. So always remember when you use your hands in front of you, so maybe you can do it again just to remember. On your left, you will see a B, that will be bread and bowl from the left, and then a D on the right. So that will be from your right-hand side. So if you look at a few examples, the bread will be served from the left, like I said. Your salad will also be served from the left, and that will be in your side plate. And then your wine, the red wine in this case, will be served from the right-hand side because we also place the glasses on that side. And then your drinks like coffee and tea, even something else that they order like brandy and Coke or Milo or whatever, all the drinks will be served from the right. Okay, now we've got a chance for a few questions. Is there anyone that wants to ask a question? Raise your hand, please. Is there no questions from your side? Okay, if you're a little bit shy to ask a question, you can also send us your questions and we will be answering the questions after the session and give feedback to you after this webinar. Kobe, can you hear me? Kobe, can you hear me? Kobe, can you hear me? Okay, I think we are going. I think we're going to go on with this webinar and finish up. So all the questions, it seems that there's been a problem with the sound. So let's finish up this webinar and then you can ask all your questions afterwards and we will answer that then. If you're not registered with Impact, please contact us at info@impact.co.za. And thank you for joining us today. Keep well and don't lock down on your studies, please. Thank you.